Friends, welcome into another edition of Soccer Texas. I'm Alex Parra. Beside me, the one and only Victor Araiza here at Shell Energy Stadium. Week number 2 of MLS Soccer. Victor, what an opportunity Houston had. The color red changing things this evening here at Shell.
Yeah, in different ways. There was a few Korean fans with the red shirt that said "Go Korea." Obviously, the excitement around Sun visiting, and obviously that test for the Houston Dynamo. But absolutely, I think the story of the game here turns out to be how the Dynamo were down to 9 men. They'll get to say, they didn't get their best shot because of the circumstances. But I think overall, we said this was going to be a test, and I think they got that test here today in week 2. And they certainly can take a lot of things they can learn from going forward to the rest of the season.
Why don't we listen to some of Ben Olsen's comments post-match, talking about being down by 2 men, the situation with the referees, and all of this could be arguable, but maybe the way to take all of this, and we'll hear Ben Olsen, is to learn from it. Here's Ben Olsen.
Well, I thought up until the red card, we played very well. It was very disciplined. We asked the guys to do some things that maybe are out of, their comfort zone in making sure we protect space and absorb and transition, which, again, isn't really in our nature, but against a team like LAFC, you could see how quickly they expose you, and space is their friend and your enemy when you play them. So I thought it was disciplined. I thought we frustrated them, and we created a few really good chances in the first half. And then the red card changes everything. And here's what I'll say about the red card. To me, it's the wrong call. And it changes the game, unfortunately. And he reaches for the yellow, and then he decides that it's a red. And I've looked at it several times, and to me, it's just the wrong call. It's the wrong call in the wrong moment, and it changes the entire match. It's that simple.
Clearly, Ben Olsen in disagreement with the referees, but having these red cards, being 2 men down, changes everything. And Antonio Carlos playing really well, in my opinion, Victor, in that first half.
Yeah.
Hanging in there, playing well against Son. It really was a dream matchup, but it shows also how quickly something can change. My personal opinion, I don't know if that first red card was warranted, but that's part of history.
That's the what if, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I kind of agree with you. You can only ask so much of the refs. They make mistakes as well. I know
Sure.
people get frustrated, but that's also things that are out of your control. And maybe that's a frustrating part for coaches and players, but it happens in the professional game, especially with players like Son, who probably get those benefits. I don't know, maybe that's an idea to maybe get a star player in your team. No, look, but honestly,
It's a reality.
it's part of the reality, and that's also why you have to be a little bit extra careful, whether you like it or not, against these type of teams. Like you said, Carlos was up. A lot of players, I think, were up to the challenge
They
today.
were.
And really, every time Houston faces LAFC, you can sense that extra motivation. But yeah, you got to be able to play with and hang with these type of teams for the full 90 minutes. They had a few opportunities. I want to mention that the crossbar. They had a few opportunities where they could do some damage. They weren't able to, and I think overall, they just weren't going to be able to do it with 10, and certainly not with 9.
Let's talk quickly. Jonathan Bond, and we spoke to him in our official broadcast after the match, what might have been, what could have been. Talk about Bond, and also talk about Matthew Arana, 15 years of age, debuting here for the first team.
Yeah, those are the 2 positive highlights from this. Bond, obviously, like you mentioned, I think had a great night, maybe a career night.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the 2 goals, I mean, he'd obviously be man of the match. Several stops on the likes of Bouanga and Son, and that's what you have to feel positive about going forward, that you have a goalkeeper that can make great saves against great players. Again, it's only week 2, so you can at least have the caveat that, hey, later on in the season, that's a guy you can depend on. And as you mentioned, historic moment.
Matthew Arana.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. What were you doing at 15? Were you debuting for the first team?
I was no, but look, and we'll see where this goes. We mentioned it. They got to be careful with this kid. They got to bring him along the right way. But you could say, whether you like it or not, maybe the game was lost. This was a pretty good opportunity. Why not throw him in there with some veterans, with the likes of Sam Boanga, or just this LAFC talented team. Give him a taste of the professionals, and then throw him in there a little bit. There was another debut as well. I
There
believe,
was.
in
Agustin Resch.
defense. These might be bright spots going forward to the rest of the season, because we talked about they need some youth as well.
Well, I was talking also about Herrera. That's what was in my mind.
Yeah.
Debuting in
The
this
comeback.
season.
Not exactly how he wanted it.
Not how he wanted. At that point. Houston was only down by one man, so it might have made more of a match. But almost immediately they were down to 9 men. So,
Yeah.
but Herrera, it was time for him to come in. This was a moment.
Yeah, if we're gonna nitpick, and I'm just gonna mention it. I would have liked to have seen him maybe in the starting lineup. I don't know if he was ready.
Yeah.
Because I think with a player like that, you could take control of the game from the first minute. You can go at LAFC. You can try to punch him in the mouth. You can try to deliver a message that, hey, this is our house and we're gonna set the tone here. But obviously, as things were with the lineup, and listen, Ponce wasn't here tonight. That's another
Correct.
thing that was missing.
Yeah.
Another what if. So I think there's things you can take. There's things you can maybe say, well, okay, but ultimately I think it's not going to feel good losing to an LAFC, but I think there was a lot of good positives from this, and certainly obviously the crowd. Hopefully you won some of them over as well.
A sold-out crowd, by the way, here at Shell Energy. Before we go, Victor, a bye week in many ways, because next week's match,
Unexpected bye week.
unexpected, against New England will not take place. It's been postponed for a later date.
That's right. They were going to install grass, believe it or not. Thank you, FIFA World Cup. Grass at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, because of the winter storm, couldn't be delivered on time, not going to be installed on time,
Yeah.
and therefore next week's game, Dynamo visiting Revolution, it's not going to happen. So it gives the team a week to reflect. It gives the team an extra week to prepare
Absolutely.
for their game after.
Against Portland.
Yeah, and dissect two of these games that, again, I think you could take something from the Fire game. I think you could take even more from this LAFC game that was against a better team and certainly one of the contenders for the MLS Cup.
Arguably, at this moment at least, the number one team in Major League Soccer. Victor, it's always a pleasure. Thank you, friends. Also, thanks to all of you that follow us. And what did you think of this matchup? What might have been, what could have been if we ended 11-11? It might have been a different story. But the final score here at Shell Energy tonight, LAFC coming in with the 2-0 win. They now pick up 6 points in 2 matches, and it's a team, as Victor mentioned, certainly to be reckoned with. So on behalf of all of us, thanks for following us in this space that we call Soccer Tejas.